This is Wally. This is a robot. This is Wally again. This is a robot I built in high school. I bet you won't guess what I'm doing in this video. So let's breeze through about 4 months of work in
10
minutes. So let's start the story now. It's Christmas break. I was very bored after finals week, so yeah, now we're doing this. I had a couple goals for this robot. I wanted to make it drive like a tank, control it wirelessly, make the body expand and retract, including the arms, actually make it look like Wally, and the biggest thing of all, get a thing to put on my resume. So after a lot of planning, I was ready to order parts. And I got it built and it was done, is what I would say if it was that easy, but no. Okay, so in the beginning, I ordered a bunch of things, not really knowing what I would need, but ChatGPT said that they would all work together, right? The first challenge was actually getting the brain of the robot to do literally anything. Well, anyway, it was my first time working with ESP32s, and this thing is cool. It's like a computer, but it's tiny and it's really cheap, so it's great for robotics. I would highly recommend. It took me a while to even get a blinking light using Arduino IDE, just because I had absolutely no clue what I was doing. But eventually, I had an ESP32 that worked, which meant it was finally time to connect it to motors. So then I modeled and 3D printed what I call the circuit board and wired the ESP32 to some H-bridges and motors, as well as a fuse box, buck converter, and battery. And finally, after a while messing around with the code, I got the motors to spin, and Wally had come to life for the first time.
W. Go left, right, backward, stop it.
Now that I could move the robot, it was time to start adding the features that would actually make it feel like Wally. I mentioned earlier that I wanted the final robot to expand and retract like he does in the movie, like this. So I wired up some linear actuators and we had our first expansion and retraction.
We're gonna extend. Oh my god, I'm pushing crap off the table. Then we're gonna retract.
And at this point, I had movement and I had body motion. I also decided to run Wally completely from my laptop instead of from a PS4 controller. Originally wanted a PS4 controller was because of those videos, like this one, where you have the Lego robots climbing walls and crossing pits and stuff like that. And it looked really easy to do, but no. Turns out it's not. Or maybe I'm the problem. I don't know. But anyway, for me, for this project, the laptop control just made more sense. After that decision, it was time to get everything running independently of the wired connection. And right then, I had to go back to school. So I brought Wally with me, thinking I'd be able to work on it in my free time. Free time? I was so naive. I actually did have a little free time in the first week. So I got this far after losing the code and remaking it. During that first week, I got the tracks on and I was ready for the first driving test.
Okay. Fully independently, we see if it drives. Oh, oh my god. Oh my god, I did it. Oh, dude. Oh, that's so awesome.
So I finished my second semester and that went fine. I passed, which is something, I guess. And now it's summer and I finally have time to work on Wally again. But I discovered a huge problem. You see that? This right here? That's not supposed to break. And eventually all of the track supports like this one did. I ended up rebuilding the entire circuit board setup, and I was really, really into it. So I actually did like that all in like 2 days, but they were long days. That's not even on the script. Those days, I think I spent like 12, 13 hours each day working on WALL-E. That was fun though. This version uses some round, loose supports that don't let the actuator get twisted by the weight of the body, but the supports also don't break, at least in theory. So, naturally, it's time for another test. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time ever, the completed WALL-E, like, robotics part. Okay, we got laptop control. We can expand and retract. Oh, I forgot about putting a screw in there. Crap. And this time, it actually worked. Okay, with the drivetrain fully where I wanted it, it was time to make the robot actually look like WALL-E. So I modeled this entire outer shell and printed it out. And next up was 3D printing everything, and the printing process was a project on its own. I've got a Creality K1C, and it's great, but it doesn't have a huge build volume, so some of these parts had to be printed in some pretty weird ways. For example, I had to print the top plate vertically when it could have been printed out in like 40 minutes horizontally instead of 3 hours vertically. Anyway, while all that was printing, I got the arms and the final body touches added on. And then it was time to assemble the final product. Oh, I also bought sticker paper, and I drew out all the different designs so that Disney doesn't hunt me down. In retrospect, I probably could have done a more professional job by painting everything, but they're on there now, and I think it looks pretty good, so I'm keeping them. And then I thought I had the complete product, so I filmed a video of it working. Except it turns out that the head would come detached from the body during retraction, and I didn't like that. So I kind of put a pause on the whole project for a little while, because I was kind of burnt out with it. And I left it like that until recently. But then 2 days ago, I was up and I couldn't sleep. And boom, I thought of a solution that as an aspiring engineer, I'm ashamed of not thinking of: zip ties. And after about 4 months, countless redesigns, and more mistakes than I can remember, all of that culminated in this final product. Also, in case anyone was wondering, by the time that this was over, I had spent around $600, and I now have enough spare parts to at least start one other project. In the end, this project taught me a lot about wiring, motor control, ESP32 networking, debugging, mechanical redesigns, and system integration. 4 months ago, I didn't know how to make an ESP32 blinking LED, but now I have a wireless, expanding, retracting WALL-E driving around my house. And honestly, I think that's pretty cool. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like and subscribe, because as it turns out, my solution to having free time is turning random ideas into engineering projects. So over the next few years, I'm gonna make a lot of cool things like this and hopefully make videos out of them. So anyway, see you next time.